Wee! It is thundering. It is lightning. We got some extra lightning going on because OJ found more of the catnip that Nufflin sent that I thought I had hidden from him. Kimberly Mann, exactly. We were pink on Wednesdays. Nani has been a member for 30 months. I'm getting ready to change the badges because we're coming into our Memorial Day holiday. How is everyone doing today? Shonda, Ada police are looking for a teenage girl who shot and unalived another girl. Don't know the whole story yet. Damn, Ada, Oklahoma. What the hell you got going on? Have to go find out about that. Big thing around here right now is turn around, don't drown. Too many people are driving into this floodwater. Angie said, can you please turn your volume up? It's up all the way, girlfriend. You'll have to turn yours up. I apologize. Don't exactly have a K95 sound system here. OJ, get your ass down. Get down. Hey, Mia. Mia said, love this space. Brooks, I'm so happy to know you. I'm happy to know you. Yep, I got it all the way up, my friends. And what are we wearing today? Or thinking about? We got pink on, right? Let's take a second and say hi to Mike. Get down, OJ. For fuck's sake, get down.
Oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Oh, it is. We almost made it to the weekend. Not quite sure how our weekend's going to go since everything is flooded. But as for our Wednesday, I've got on pink. We wear pink on Wednesdays. Yes. Angel P, oh my goodness. Thank you. Raining outside and raining on the show. Grab your umbrellas. Man, oh man, a lot going on. I wish we had an update from law enforcement about Sebastian. Of course, I might be in the minority. I'm just not overly impressed with any of his parental figures. Grandparents, all of the above. Okay? That's just me. Now, I know some people are like, but Seth's the only one searching for Sebastian. Seth's the only one searching for Sebastian. Good. You should. He's your child. You want a cookie? Really? You know, you're not working. You said you're not going to go to work until Sebastian's found. So you've got 24 hours in a day to walk around. And this drama, in my opinion, the only person that can stop the circus and stop the drama is Seth. And I had several messages about him calling into some atheist show. And I was like, what? You're telling me nobody else was available? I don't know what the hell is going on. Absolutely crazy. So we got through it. We know we're wearing pink today. We know we're friends. We know I'm not going to give a cookie to Seth for doing what he's supposed to do. So let's take a second and tell everyone hello. Lisa A said, Preacher Seth? My husband calls him Saint Seth. Because I know a couple weeks ago we were doing a show and Kind Karen was in. And she's got a real clit hard on for old Seth. She's like, he's the best dad in the world, Brooks. You're just twisting everything. How can I twist what he said? How can I twist what Katie said? How can I twist what Chris said? They said it. You know, come on. I didn't Photoshop Chris and Katie's fat ass at the Harley Davidson checking out motorcycles. Absolutely nuts. Hang on. Jules said he was sub-searching. All right, everybody. Not searching for Sebastian. You're sub-searching. Sub-searching Seth. I love it. Let's have a round of applause for, so far, our comment of the day. All right, hang on. Lori, I missed your comment. I apologize. She said, Seth and his team are only making money out of Sebastian. They're pathetic, in my opinion. That's your opinion, baby girl. That is your opinion. What drives me nuts is how when something horrible happens to a child, you have an absentee parent come out of the damn shadows and they're the biggest heroes in the world. Everyone else is on the outside looking in. Everyone else. And so they're like, oh, he's doing so much. He's doing so much. Well, in my opinion, not enough was done for Sebastian. And no way do I not feel bad for Katie and Seth because their son is missing. I got a little bit of heartstrings for Chris because let's face it, I mean, he's a big old fat douchebag. I mean, he really is. He's a bully. He's abusive. Didn't like attention being taken away from him, you know. Had issues, his own custody issues. It's disgusting. So who saw the America's Most Wanted? Because my face about fell off when I saw it. Okay? So I'm going to start with that and we're going to come back to it. I promise we will. Now, our friend Evil CJ clipped this without commentary. So I am using this one because, you know, your old friend Brooks here goes to sleep early. So I didn't exactly get to watch it. And it's not the type of stuff that I watch at nighttime anyway. I've been watching, well, you know, I watch that shit where you get like a bunch of toilet paper rolls and you make a craft out of it. Cooking shows. I've been watching that reality show about the Baldwins. Trust me, my husband's not a fan. So let's get to it. Good morning, Karen Renfo.
Good evening. I'm Harris Faulkner, and this is America's Most Wanted Missing Persons, a new show following the lead of the iconic true crime series. We have one mission: to bring missing loved ones home. Every person you'll see on this screen tonight has someone waiting for them, a parent, a child.
Poor Sebastian. Poor Sebastian. When I saw that, my heart sank. I couldn't imagine being a parent in this situation in the first place, and in the second place, seeing my child's face on America's Most Wanted. No, I couldn't imagine. That would be quite a punch in the throat. If you know, you know.
A friend, a community that refuses to give up, and neither will we. We've assembled a team of experts who dedicated their lives to solving cases and helping others. Derek Levasseur, you may know him from Big Brother, but he also has worked undercover with the FBI, DEA, and Secret Service.
How do you go from working undercover with the FBI, DEA, and Secret Service, and then you wind up on the damn show Big Brother? How does that happen? Sleuth Slayton said, I know. I would be so embarrassed coming back home to this if I were Sebastian. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. They're talking about masturbation. They're talking about SA when he was 8. They're talking about pull-ups. They're talking about how they wanted to put him into a specialized school for children that have the same, I'm going to say, condition that Sebastian has. I'm not 100% sure he is autistic, because the chromosomal defect can actually mimic autism. Let's face it, Katie's basically a single mother. Chrissy Poo works out of town. She don't want Seth's ass around. She don't want Seth around. She doesn't deal with Seth. She don't want him around. So he sees his son once a month, every 2 weeks. People brag on Seth saying, well, since they co-parent, he doesn't pay child support. It doesn't work that way. So when Katie reached out to Seth and said, I really want to put him in this school because he'll be worked with one-on-one, whatever the behaviors that were going on, they will help therapeutically to change, I guess I should say. And Seth, pulling up his pants going, not my son, not my son. He don't need nothing like that. Not my son. Well, your son's missing now, and it's horrible. Horrible. Okay? We're not talking about a damn group home like Emily Pike. We talked about that yesterday. We're talking about a therapeutic school. And I don't think anybody was asking Seth for the cash. Okay, let me just say that.
Elizabeth Smart, a survivor and advocate whose abduction recovery was made possible through America's Most Wanted. Payne Lindsay, whose investigative true crime podcast Up and Vanished has brought cold cases back into the national spotlight. And tonight's special guest, Callahan Walsh, a familiar face to America's Most Wanted. Callahan does incredible work with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Thank you so very much, everyone, for joining us. Let's get to our first case now. A missing child, Sebastian Rogers. On February 25th, 2024, Sebastian's mother said goodnight to her 15-year-old son. The next morning, Sebastian was gone.
It seems you out. Me and white male, 3 blonde hair, works my best, but 120 pounds. I was going to be wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants. You know, those have a lot of autism.
Sebastian is tall and skinny, has a contagious.
Now, these look like interviews I've seen before, like they clipped it, which is fine, from like the Nashville News, nothing from YouTube, but you know what I mean. Dump Pie, which by the way is one of the coolest names I've ever heard on YouTube. Can we please just have a round of applause for the name Dump Pie? Because that is damn awesome. Dump Pie. I'm going to start using that. Dump Pie said no. KP should have said no. You take him now. My hubby don't like him. She kind of said that in a way. Actually, Chris even brought it up to Seth. Seth made up this big old windy on several YouTube channels saying he couldn't get him into school. Impossible. You see, parents move often, sell homes, buy a new home, go to a different apartment, different school districts. The school has to take them, okay? They have to take them. And as we know, the online schooling is much easier. The virtual learning is much easier. And that's what Seth said he was looking for. And he said, give him a year to straighten up. Okay, awesome. So who's supposed to straighten him up? That made my blood curdle. Who is supposed to straighten up this boy?
Sebastian is tall and skinny, has a contagious smile, loves video games, loves cats.
Boundless amounts of energy. Sebastian reminds me of a deer prancing through the woods, you know, enjoying the smell, the breeze, new things. That's my son.
February 25th, the day before Sebastian went missing, Chris was in Memphis at work. So Sebastian and I went to Texas Roadhouse. After dinner, right around 9 o'clock, he laid down. I heard a noise in his room. I said, I don't care what you're doing, but you got to knock it off and you got to go to bed. And he answered, yes, ma'am. I said, okay. And that was the last time that I spoke with Sebastian. The next morning, when I went in his room, he wasn't in his bed. After a minute or two, when I couldn't find him, I called Chris and I said, I can't find Sebastian. He's not in the house.
I got off work and I had a text message from Sebastian's stepfather.
Okay, she heard a thud. She said, I know what you're doing, but knock it off and go to bed. Raise your hand if you've ever told your kids to knock it off and go to bed. I know I have. It's time to go to bed. Nuplin said often. Often. Sarah, yeah, she's like, I've said knock it off and go to bed. The ever-changing stories from these three are what I can't stand. And the only eyewitness we have is Katie. Because she was there. She was the one home. Chris is in Memphis, or actually in the RV in Horn Lake. Seth's at work. I know some people think he pulled some sort of Tom Cruise Mission Impossible and snuck out of work without anyone seeing, and he did something to Sebastian. Seth can't sneak nowhere. No, Seth can't sneak nowhere. We know with a heavily trafficked area, and I don't mean trafficked like, human trafficking, $500,000 plus homes. People have cameras. They have cameras all over the place. They don't want their shit vandalized and stolen and things like that. We know the dogs hid at the retention pond. We know the dogs hid at the construction site. Where the hell could he be? And if it's believed that Katie threw him up over her shoulder and carried him to the retention pond and then to the construction site, well, then the dogs would have picked up her scent too. So we have to be logical and think about this. And again, I'm no fan of any of them. Here we go, Mr. Deer prancing through the woods.
He's not in the house.
I got off work and I had a text message from Sebastian's stepfather.
I said, hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but Sebastian is missing.
I headed straight over to their house.
I started driving through the neighborhood. I was panicking. I was looking everywhere.
Like, where is he? What happened? Did he go with someone? Did someone take him? By the time I pulled into the school, Christopher was already telling me to turn around because the authorities were on their way.
They used helicopters, they used drones, they used ATVs, horseback.
An extensive search didn't yield.
Okay. Now, what Seth said on my show, our show, is that the text from Chris said don't be mad, we can't find Sebastian. Okay, Chris is retelling it, saying that he told Seth Sebastian's missing. Now, I hate when people jump to the conclusion and they say missing. I go back to old case. Lacey Peterson. I've mentioned this many times. When Scott Peterson, who we know, killed his wife Lacey and their unborn son Connor, when he called Sharon Rocha and he said, Lacey's missing, and she was annoyed. And she was, what do you mean missing? You know, now mind you, we're talking about a grown woman. Sebastian he's a kid. She could be out shopping. She could be visiting a neighbor. What do you mean she's missing? So that's a big difference. So for Chris to now say, I'm going to listen to that again, because what Seth said on this show, that the text said, don't be mad, we can't find Sebastian. And I found that odd enough.
I said I can't find Sebastian. He's not in the house.
I got off of work and I had a text message from Sebastian's stepfather.
I said, hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but Sebastian is missing.
I headed straight over to their house.
I started driving through the neighborhood. I was panicking. I was looking everywhere. Like, where is he? What happened? Did he go with someone? Did someone take him? By the time I pulled into the school, Christopher was already telling me to turn around because the authorities were on their way.
They used helicopters, they used drones, they used ATVs, horseback.
An extensive search didn't yield one significant lead or even a glimpse of the boy on any doorbell cam video. Days later, investigators combed through a landfill, still saying they had found nothing.
And that's the scariest part. With such an extensive search, they can't find him. They know where the dogs hit. They had heat-seeking drones, helicopters, police everywhere. Secret Service going door to door saying, check your cameras, check your cameras, check your cameras. See something, say something, said just like Candace and Dawn, bad acting, like something happened. She just got gone, buddy. Just got gone, buddy. Just got gone, buddy.
We have nothing. We just have speculations. We get criticized. The father gets criticized. Law enforcement's been criticized.
Online sleuths are really analyzing videos and creating their own theories.
Sebastian is putting something in his pocket.
Surveillance footage from a neighbor shows two people outside of Sebastian's house that night. Something happened.
Tonight marks 1 year since Sebastian Rogers disappeared near Beach High School in Sumner County.
My life is not the same without my son. He's not here, and he's somewhere. Someone has him.
This year has been the worst nightmare I could have imagined come alive.
Just wants whoever has him, just give him back. It's my son.
Wow, that dad. You can feel it. So we want to talk about theories now, Payne, and what might have happened with Sebastian. What are your thoughts?
I mean, here's his house. They searched miles outside of that neighborhood for days. Helicopters on the ground. They even drained a lake. He's nowhere. I don't think Sebastian would have gone outside on his own. There's someone else involved here. Somebody who was familiar to him, but a stranger to everyone else.
We also have to consider he could have left on his own volition. We know children on the autism spectrum tend to wander. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, nearly half of all children on the autism spectrum will go missing at some point from their environment.
Wow.
But I think something caused him to flee his home. Was that into the open arms of a predator? Or was there a roaming predator that just happened to see Sebastian walking down through the neighborhood?
And to me, one thing that stands out is his shoes. He always wore his shoes according to his mom.
Yeah. She shared a story that as a younger boy,
Okay, I'll come back to this. Sleuth Slayton said Katie can jam the cams. Yep, someone had to have. I don't know anything about that. That is a huge crime. And there are people 100 times smarter than Katie that can figure that out. And that in itself would be an arrest. We've heard from several neighbors saying they have everything from their cameras. But, I mean, hell, weirder things have happened. You know, just like one of my first theories was maybe he was talking to someone online and he snuck out of the house. I would think in a year and some change, they would figure out who he's talking to. I don't know how they do it. I can't imagine, because some of those video game names and everything are so encrypted. I don't know how they would figure it out.
And to me, one thing that stands out is his shoes. He always wore his shoes according to his mom.
yeah, she shared a story that as a younger boy, he walked through a pile of dirt, turned out to be a bed of fire ants, and he had a thing about always wearing his socks and shoes. I can't think that a 15-year-old child would get up in the middle of the night and leave without his shoes in February. It's cold. So for me, that says that someone has come and taken him, or someone else is involved. Someone knows something. And as easy as it is to be like, oh, that could never happen, like your bedroom is the safest place in the world. Well, no, bedrooms are not the safest place in the world. I was taken from my bedroom. It can.
Woo! Boy, that's hard to hear from Elizabeth Smart. That's really hard to hear. She's like, I was taken from my bedroom. Now, last I checked, well, they always say everything's on the table. They're not going to discount anything. They don't see any sign of a break-in. Elizabeth Smart, there was a sign of a break-in. So let's separate that. No offense to Elizabeth Smart. She's an amazing person.
And as easy as it is to be like, oh, that could never happen, like your bedroom is the safest place in the world. Well, no, bedrooms are not the safest place in the world. I was taken from my bedroom. It can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
So when you consider what you just said, Elizabeth, and according to Katie, that night, she goes to bed, he goes to bed, then around 10 p.m., there's a bump or a thud. She calls out to him. He says, you know, I'm fine. Yes, ma'am. I'll stop moving. And then that's the end of it. And according to her, when she went to bed, the doors were locked. And when she woke up, the doors were locked. Were the windows locked? That's a big question. Were they secure? Because if they weren't, it could mean one of two things.
Yeah, this is interesting. And this is something I'm not sure it's ever been asked to Katie before. Were the windows locked? Were the windows locked? Did he seriously sneak out? If he was truly wearing black sweatpants and a black sweatshirt, then maybe he wasn't detected by a camera. The dogs were in bed with Katie. I mean, they're snoozing supposedly.
That thud, him responding, was someone else in there with him?
Or someone was with him and going.
Exactly.
So I do want to bring up this home security camera footage. This looks like foot traffic right in here.
Yeah, if you look at the footage here, you can see subject number 1, allegedly, right? It looks like something that's illuminated, which, by the way, we haven't mentioned it yet. According to Katie, there was a flashlight that Sebastian liked using that was missing. So you consider that it does look like two people holding flashlights.
Yes. That paints a picture that is foul play.
Yes.
So I want to help the public now. We want to.
Okay, hold on. Tracy with an I. What's up, girlfriend? Tracy said they said yes, the windows were locked, and if he would have went out the window, we would have heard him fall in the flower bed. Okay. Really? You didn't hear someone break into your house? Your little yippers didn't go like my little dogs used to do? But you're going to hear someone fall into your flower bed? What the hell's it made out of? Glass? That is such an absurd statement they made. That is absurd. And who's the we? Did Katie have a boyfriend over? Because Seth's private detectives, what were their names? One's name was Chloe and Heather, said Chris was not home. Not home. They have that verified from law enforcement. So who the hell is the we? Seems like we have a little Freudian slip going, do we not?
You can see subject number 1, allegedly, right? It looks like something that's illuminated, which, by the way, we haven't mentioned it yet. According to Katie, there was a flashlight that Sebastian liked using that was missing. So you consider that, it does look like two people holding flashlights.
Yes. That paints a picture that is foul play.
Yes.
Tracy with an I said, we came out of CP's mouth. Could that be because they were on the phone? Or could it be one of their little sex games? Or Katie has a boyfriend over and they're going to Pound Town, but she leaves it on speakerphone so Chris can hear. Who's the we?
So I want to help the public now. We want to find Sebastian. What do you say to people, Elizabeth?
First of all, to the 16-year-olds of the country, the high school age, really, if you
Yeah, you don't want to hear that in my house, me and old DT driver. Because it could be mid bear down. And he'll say, did you pay the water bill? I forgot to ask you. Soulshine said, oh my goodness, what did I walk into? Hey girl, just our normal show. You know how we roll around here.
So you consider that, it does look like two people holding flashlights.
Yes. That paints a picture that is foul play.
Yes.
So I want to help the public now. We want to find Sebastian. What do you say to people, Elizabeth?
First of all, to the 16-year-olds of the country, the high school age, really, if you know someone who looks like Sebastian, if you know something about Sebastian, tell your parents, call into the show, call the police, report it. This might be the break that we need. To the parents, if you have seen a 16-year-old boy that looks like Sebastian, do not be afraid to pick up the phone and call.
There is a $50,000 reward to help find him. Sebastian Rogers was about 5'5" when he was last seen, and he wears glasses. Sebastian is not comfortable with strangers.
If you're someone from this small town and you're in this neighborhood, check your cameras. There might be someone sitting on some doorbell cameras footage. I bet you he's in this small town in Tennessee.
Wow, that's an interesting theory.
But this isn't the most rural area in the world. We're not talking about out in the Rocky Mountains. This is a neighborhood
There's
where
a highway going this up.
there's high foot traffic everywhere, and still no sign of him.
Wow. Thank you to our team of experts. And you all know our purpose is to examine these cases and give people watching information so they can bring the missing home. And I want to thank Callahan. I'm so glad that you're with us right now. We'll see you next week. And that is
Absolutely.
fantastic.
Good luck with the rest of the show.
Thank you.
Woo! Again, our friend Evil CJ clipped that. Hold on, someone's messaging me. 1 second. Hold on. I'm live now. Is it a secret I'm live every morning at 9? My goodness. My goodness. My goodness. Now, we know of several neighbors that said they didn't have anything weird with their cameras or anything. It doesn't mean it's in the line of sight for where Sebastian might have walked by. It's a big neighborhood, okay? It's a big neighborhood. All right, so Deception Detective, he weighed in on this. Now, he seemed to be real team Chris and Katie there for a while. And that could honestly be a ploy to get him on the show. Hey, fine by me. But he weighed in on it. And some things I agree with, some things I don't. If you do your homework like you all do, you've already picked out indiscrepancies. You know, in America's Most Wanted, Chris said, you know, he told Seth that Sebastian's missing. Seth said, Chris said to him, don't get mad, we can't find Sebastian. Those are two totally different scenarios. Missing and I can't find are two totally different. So what is it? If that had been said from the beginning, this would be a totally different show today. But Seth himself was on this show and said, Chris said to him, don't be mad, we can't find Sebastian. Dump Pie said, and why would KP allow the Sox to treat her son like they did and do nothing, go on vacay, and your son cannot go? Yeah, for real. I couldn't believe that. So the Bauer Sox take all the grandkids to Disney World, but Sebastian's too much of a handful. I'd have been like, well, I'll go too. He's not going to be left out. I will go too. You're just going to leave one child out? That's a horrible thing to do. But then I saw Nina's older daughter, older than Faith, obviously, was talking about how Kathy Bauer Sox treated her. And she's a little girl. When she just wanted to spend time with her little sister. That's why I say, not a fan, not impressed. No, I'm not.
Lindsay from Up and Vanished, Elizabeth Smart, who I'm sure many of you are familiar with. She was abducted as a child, Joseph Petito, and then Kara Chamberlain Robinson. I hope I'm saying her name right. She was the young girl who was abducted.
That's Derek Lavasseur talking about his fellow panelists on the show America's Most Wanted Missing Persons. And they recently did a segment about Sebastian Rogers, the case we've been following here on the channel. So let's watch it and react, because there's some good and some bad, starting with that panel. You'll see what I mean in a second.
You know, and damn. Snaggletooth and Kathy want to take all those kids down to Disney World? No. There wouldn't be enough booze in the world to get me through an amusement park, especially Disney World, with a bunch of kids. Old Brooks is way too old for that now.
I'm Deception Detective, an attorney trained in statement analysis. This channel exposes lies and manipulation. So if that's your thing, hit like and subscribe. For early access, exclusive videos, and other cool perks, consider becoming a channel member. Link in description. If you're not familiar with the Sebastian Rogers case, don't worry, because the episode does a great job of bringing everyone up to speed. The only thing it won't mention is my personal theory about the case.
Thank you, Nani. I missed that comment. Jack of all trades had a question about the late diagnosis for autism. Nani said the reason for the late diagnosis for the autism is because of the chromosome deletion. He also has that can mimic autism symptoms. I think there's something else going on there. Too many things have been mentioned behavior-wise that I am not going to get into on this show because, for one, I'm not qualified. You see, that's above my pay grade. I wouldn't even know how to discuss it.
And that is that Sebastian's mother, Katie Proudfoot, and stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, has something to do with his disappearance. Or at least they have guilty knowledge about what may have happened. Finally, one last thing before we grab our deception decks and start watching. I was unable to find this full episode anywhere on YouTube. Fortunately, friend of the channel, Clutch Them Pearls, did a live and it's still up. So we're going to react to that. I'll link his channel in the description. All right, without further ado, let's listen.
Now we carry that legacy forward with a single mission: to bring the missing home.
This hole in my heart where Chelsea's supposed to be.
We've assembled a team to lead the search, boots on the ground. From America's Most Wanted, Callahan Walsh.
She doesn't even know that she's a missing child.
Gabby Petito's father, Joe Petito.
Car was parked literally right here.
True crime podcaster, Kane Lindsay.
Somebody needs to be asked some hard questions.
Former undercover detective Derek Levasseur.
Maybe someone out there can do something.
And survivor and
Okay, I'm not going through all the credits. Karma Moon said, I do wish CPS cases had been mentioned in the story, but they skipped that. Probably safe for America's Most Wanted because, well, they have a lot of money and they could get sued. And since they're not public record, since it's only what, we've heard, and all of them have been unfounded, then it's probably safe for them not to bring them up. Because let's face it, there's a lot of and I'm not saying in this case, but there's a lot of very junky CPS reports. There are. I could see a kid fall down on a bicycle outside of my house and call CPS and say, oh, they're letting their kid ride the bicycle. Well, guess what? They're going to come over. They're going to see a skin up knee. They're going to say, hey, maybe, go down to the store and get you some knee pads so that way the kid doesn't get skin up again. It's called unfounded.
advocate Elizabeth Smart.
I'm here because you deserve your brother back home.
Working with investigators and listening to families.
Why would he take the van? Why would he take my phone?
There's no more waiting. Tonight, we're going to find them.
Someone knows something.
This little girl is still out there.
We need your eyes. We need your voice.
We're one tip away from changing the course of this case.
We need your help.
It's a missing piece to the family. I miss my son.
That was the voice of Katie Proudfoot saying, I miss my son. But before we get to her and Chris, let me just explain what I meant when I said that the panel itself is a problem. It's not actually their fault. It's more of a psychological phenomenon. It's priming. As you may have noticed from that clip I played from Derek's channel, 2 of his fellow panelists are abductees themselves. They were both kidnapped, but they were stranger kidnapped. And Gabby Petito's father, who is also on the panel, had nothing to do with his daughter's disappearance. So before the intro's even finished,
I didn't see Gabby Petito's father on the panel. I don't see anybody that looks like Joe Petito. I don't know why they keep bringing his ass up. Nothing against Joe. He's a great guy, but I don't see him on the panel. And yeah, stranger abductions do happen. Matter of fact, there's a woman coming on the show, I believe tomorrow. And I hope you guys are all here because she has a story. Well, it's not a story. It's her life and her daughter's life that is beyond scary.
already primed to think about these cases as stranger kidnappings, rather than the statistically much more likely scenario of someone in the house being responsible. This could easily be corrected for future episodes, though, by adding the parent of a kid who went missing because a step-parent, for example, did something, rather than a complete stranger. Landon Bullard, the mother of Gannon Stouch, who was killed by his stepmother, Letitia Stouch, comes to mind. At least this way, the priming would be balanced between totally taking the parents at face value and having a bit of skepticism that they may be involved. All right, let's keep listening.
We need your eyes. We need your voice.
We're one tip away from changing the course of this case.
We need your help.
It's a missing piece to the family. I miss my son.
Because one sighting, one tip, one moment.
We're this close.
It was JJ and Edgar.
We never stop searching, because we know the families won't stop either.
The search begins now.
Good evening. I'm Harris Faulkner, And this is America's Most Wanted Missing Persons, a new show following the lead of the iconic true crime series. We have one mission: to bring missing loved ones home. Every person you'll see on this screen tonight has someone waiting for them: a parent, a child, a friend, a community that refuses to give up, and neither will we. We've assembled a team of experts who dedicated their lives to solving cases and helping others. Derek Levasseur, you may know him from Big Brother, but he also has worked undercover with the FBI, DEA, and Secret Service. Elizabeth Smart, a survivor and advocate whose abduction recovery was made possible through America's Most Wanted. Payne Lindsay, whose investigative true crime podcast, Up and Vanished, has brought cold cases back into the national spotlight. And tonight's special guest, Callahan Walsh, a familiar face to America's Most Wanted. Callahan does incredible work with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Thank you so very much, everyone, for joining us. Let's get to our first case now. A missing child, Sebastian Rogers. On February 25th, 2024, Sebastian's mother said goodnight to her 15-year-old son. The next morning, Sebastian was gone.
Here we go, y'all.
Hi, Ernestine Juvenile. Me and white male, 3 blonde hair, approximately 5 foot. I'm going to turn down. I was going to be wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants. You know, those have a criminal autism. Just warm her out.
Sebastian is tall and skinny, has a contagious smile, loves video games, loves cats.
Boundless amounts of energy. Sebastian reminds me of a deer prancing through the woods, you know, enjoying the smell, the breeze, new things. That's my son.
Don't worry, you're not hallucinating. That voice you're hearing is Clutch Them Pearls chiming in every now and then. As I said, we're reacting to his live stream, but that's not the reason I paused. I paused because I want to point out the shirt that Seth Rogers, Sebastian's biological father, is wearing. Right in the center of it is a photo of his missing son. And I've seen this shirt so many times because he always wears it whenever he's doing press or even a big YouTube channel interview, that I know below the photo there's other pertinent details about Sebastian's disappearance. Desiree Young, the mother of missing child Kyron Horman, does the same thing. Whenever she's in public.
Off topic, I don't know how Desiree does it. I really don't. Because they have tons of information on what happened to Kyron. And she can't get that DA to budge for nothing to go arrest Terry Horman and damn Dee. She can't get them to budge. I don't know how Brandy Neal does it. Brandy Vaughn. They have known about the suspects in the case of Michael Vaughn for years now. This is 2025. They were excavating that backyard in 2022. I get the whole, they don't have the body. They don't have the body. You got to be a smart cookie. You've got to be a smart cookie. And if you're not, you've got to find someone smarter than you to help. So if these DAs don't know how to get it done, you got to find someone that can help you to get justice for these children. I think of the case of Summer Wells. Holy shit. You've got that DA. He's worthless, man. He's like a titty on a boar hog. He can't get anything done or doesn't want to.
Talking about her son, she wears a t-shirt with his photo on it and other pertinent details. And they don't do it because some organization or advocacy group tells them to print out t-shirts. They do it because it's a manifestation of their main objective, finding their kid. In other words, when they know they're going to have an audience, they want to show off their kid's face in case anyone recognizes them, rather than do what we've seen so many guilty parents on the channel do, which is push their own alibi or try to ingratiate themselves with the audience, or push a red herring theory to get people off of their tracks. All right, let's keep listening.
February 25th, the day before Sebastian went missing, Chris was in Memphis at work. So Sebastian and I went to Texas Roadhouse. After dinner, right around 9 o'clock, we laid down, I heard a noise in his room. I said, I don't care what you're doing, but you got to knock it off and you got to go to bed. And he answered, yes, ma'am. And I said, okay. And that was the last time that I spoke with Sebastian. The next morning, when I went in his room, he wasn't in his bed. After a minute or two, when I couldn't find him, I called Chris and I said, I can't find Sebastian. He's not in the house.
I got off work and I had a text message from Sebastian's stepfather.
I said, hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but Sebastian's missing.
I headed straight over to their house.
I wish they would not have edited it out and let Seth say what was on his phone, as opposed to Chrissy Poo paraphrasing what he said. Okay? I mean, who knows? Maybe he was throwing a tennis ball against the wall, knocking off some steam. I don't know. But the text message was received by Seth. I would not have edited out what Seth said. That's just me. Because we have two very different stories. We have what Chris said on America's Most Wanted, and we have what Seth has said from the beginning. He said it on this show. If I had a month of Sundays, I could go find it. Chris said, don't be mad. We can't find Sebastian.
I won't rehash all my problems with this story because I've already done 13 episodes about this case, breaking down all the different red flags. But here's a couple quick ones. The first is Katie said that she searched for Sebastian for 1 to 2 minutes before concluding that he was missing. That's an awfully quick search. In fact, it's so quick, I don't know how she could have made that determination. Moreover, Katie originally said that she searched for 3 minutes in her early interviews. And 3 is actually a card in the deception deck, my 52 favorite rules for spotting lies and manipulation. And that's because liars often, when they're scrambling to make up a number, pick the number 3. I don't know why, but there's a correlation. But if Katie is hoaxing, as I think she is, her husband Chris Proudfoot isn't that much better at it. As you heard him just say, within just a couple of minutes of hearing from Katie that Sebastian couldn't be found, he told Seth Sebastian was missing. How did he know Sebastian wasn't with Seth? How did he know Sebastian didn't run to his dad's house because he got into a fight with his mom? Or that Seth had kidnapped Sebastian out of some grudge against his ex-wife? This degree of conclusiveness, despite the facts, is the hallmark of a hoaxer. It's one of the items on my spotting hoaxes card in the deception deck. Because we always speak based on what we know, someone who made up a story might accidentally reveal knowledge that they shouldn't have if their story were true. Do you think our AMW panel will pick up on any of this? Let's keep watching and find out.
I said, hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but Sebastian's missing.
I headed straight over to their house.
I started driving through the neighborhood. I was panicking. I was looking everywhere. Like, where is he? What happened? Did he go with someone? Did someone take him? By the time I pulled into the school, Christopher was already telling me to turn around because the authorities were on their way.
They used helicopters. They used drones. They used ATVs, horseback.
How would he
An
know?
extensive search didn't yield one significant lead or even a glimpse of the boy on any doorbell cam video. Days later, investigators combed through a landfill, still saying they had found nothing.
We have nothing. We just have speculations. We get criticized. The father gets criticized. Law enforcement's been criticized.
Online sleuths are really analyzing videos and creating their own theories.
Sebastian is putting something in his pocket.
Surveillance footage from a neighbor shows 2 people outside of Sebastian's house that night. Something happened.
Tonight marks 1 year since Sebastian Rogers disappeared near Beach High School in Sumner County.
My life is not.
The only way that they do not have any camera footage of Sebastian getting out of the house is if him and Katie had some kind of argument between Texas Roadhouse and home. And she told him, because we don't know if she bought him new shoes that day. Remember, they were out shopping. When she says all his shoes are accounted for, it doesn't mean maybe he got new shoes that day. It's a common thing to do when you're out shopping. Shoes are a popular damn item. If she told him, well, then just get out and walk home. We know when he was walking into Texas Roadhouse, he was annoyed. He had his fingers in his ears. He wasn't, they didn't seem too engaged at dinner. We know that the dogs hit at the retention pond, which, yes, they did drain. We do know that there's other scents that were picked up, and they ended at the construction site. Now, let's be honest here. I'm not here to dog on Katie. I'm really not. She's got a son that's missing. It is a very woodsy area. Texas Roadhouse is not exactly next door, okay? If she had just had it and said, get out and walk, which, by the way, isn't cool at all, then that's why the dogs didn't find a scent from the house to these places. Only thing that makes sense to me is that she was at home thinking he was going to show back up. You know, cool off, walk back home. I'm not saying it's good. No. But we also know months before that, she reached out to Seth and said, I want to put Sebastian in this school. I can't deal with this anymore, whatever this is. Both her and Chris talked to Seth and said, well, then you are going to have to let him live with you. We can't do it. We know Seth said no on the special school. We know Seth said no about Sebastian coming to live with him. And she could have easily said, now he carries that flashlight with him everywhere. It's always in his pocket. I did hear this. She could have been like, he could have just had the phone sitting in the car and she drove off. I don't know. I'm totally speculating. Tracy said, in my opinion, they've been trying to get rid of Sebastian for years. Well, we know for several months because she wanted to put him in this school where he would have one-on-one learning, he would have therapy, and, you know, a lot of stuff. It's horrible for Sebastian. Horrible.
The same with Help My Son. He's not here, and he's somewhere. Someone has him.
This year has been the worst nightmare I could have imagined to come alive.
Just wants whoever has him. Just coming back. It's my son.
Wow, that dad. You can feel it. So we want to talk about theories now, Payne.
As the host said, wow, that dad, you can really feel his emotion. And it doesn't boil down to tears or body language nonsense, which anybody can fake, and which doesn't necessarily indicate deception, even if they couldn't fake it. It's because of what.
Okay, there's the question right there, Sam. So glad you're here. Why would someone have him, and for what reason? Exactly, why? 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 And how did he get out of the house without one camera picking him up? I do believe that she greased in a little windy when she said, oh, and he took the trash out. It was his job to take the trash out. Okay. When he got home, dogs didn't hit on that. Again, Chris said you can't trust those dogs. Well, I heard Don Wells say the same thing. And this is a very tight neighborhood. These homes start at $500,000. They have security cameras. I still think that he did not make it home.
What he said, he addressed any potential kidnappers out there who might have his kid. This is one of the items on my missing child presser checklist, are the 7 things that I've noticed innocent parents do when they have an audience, but which hoaxers typically don't do because they already know what happened. For instance, if the Proudfoots actually know what happened to Sebastian, it might not even occur to them in the first place to address any potential kidnappers because they know that's not what happened. And coincidentally, I don't think I've ever seen them address any potential kidnappers. So in summary, if I were on the panel, I'd be saying that I think Seth Rogers is innocent and that the Proudfoots might have guilty knowledge. As you can imagine, accusing the parent of a missing child and being proven wrong could be devastating for a celebrity or TV show. So they're not going to do that. Nor would it be wise for the show to accuse parents. After all, if they want to continue the series, they need parents to feel safe coming to them and being open with them. Regardless, let's hear them out and see what they have to say.
So we want to talk about theories now, Payne, and what might have happened with Sebastian. What are your thoughts?
I mean, here's his house. They searched miles outside of that neighborhood for days. Helicopters on the ground. They even drained a lake. He's nowhere. I don't think Sebastian would have gone outside on his own. There's someone else involved here. Somebody who was familiar to him, but a stranger to everyone else. We also have...
On second thought, let's do this as a part 2 if you guys really want me to analyze their theories, because I think the show is actually doing a lot of good for Sebastian. Check the end card for this playlist and my Sebastian Rogers playlist. Until next.
Okay, so those are his opinions. We know what happened on America's Most Wanted. I did put the link out if anybody wants to grab it and come up. It seems like we're going nowhere in a hurry. Nowhere in a hurry for Sebastian. No updates from police, and we know how that goes. We understand, and we know why. It would be stupid, very stupid, to tell people what they're onto. My girl Sleuth said, I've been talking about the retention pond since day one. I still think it means something, and not a lot agree. Well, it's got to mean something. They have his scent by there, but they drained that pond and he's obviously not there. Tracy with an eye said, Seth said no to that because they don't work on his specific issues. I don't know about that either. Some help is better than no help. That's my opinion on that. That's all I can say. Some help is better than no help. All right, let's get to old Chrissy Poo. This is from our girl, Allegedly Innocent. Love her work. She does great clip work. This is Chris, just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
That bitch couldn't get fucked if she ran through a field of dicks backwards with her ass cheeks spread wide the fuck open.
Woo! Woo! Who can't get effed running through a field with their butt cheeks wide open? I don't know about you girls, but I personally don't like the back door.
So you can play that shit for that bitch to hear.
Fucking staged, to be honest. I think it was absolutely fucking staged.
Why would you leave somebody up there who's talking dirty?
Well, and I mean, you know how it fucking is, right? Like she fed right into it with a fucking a shun on people, right? Any other time she'd have lost her goddamn mind if somebody that called in and said that.
And why?
I think if you really want to fucking know, she ain't had her fucking feelings crushed, but I'll do my minimum to fucking destroy her fucking feelings. Because quite honestly, that bitch needs to close her fucking mouth before she can stuff a whole goddamn turkey in it and choke on a fucking chicken leg on the way down. And hell, by doing it, she might actually do something good for her kids and her husband. So fuck that bitch. I'm sitting tired of listening to this fucking bitch run her mouth about me, my wife, my family, and anybody else out there. When that bitch she ain't fucking no angel. She ain't no goddamn perfect person. Fuck her.
Woo! Woo!
All right, go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead.
well, I said, can Chris Proudfoot said kiss his dick and suck his balls.
Okay, well that's really graphic, and I wonder why he would say such horrible things when he has a child missing. Can you answer that? Huh?
I have no idea. He just said that you look like you could suck a good old dick.
That's great. That's prioritizing. I gotta say that is prioritizing a missing 16-year-old child. Very, very, very smart. Very smart. It's sad.
Oh my
God. It is sad to.
I don't know if he's talking about Bullhorn Betty, Brittany, or Julie, or all the above. But we also saw Seth on Brittany's channel, and he was packing a pack of smokes and acted like he was spanking the monkey. And it was disgusting. It was disgusting. And thought it was hilarious.
Think that this child had a stepfather like that associates with the likes of these people. And it's always got to be sexually motivated commentary. You know, sucking a baby's you know what, right? Why in the world would any parent that has a missing child hang out with people like that?
They can't. They can't talk bad about Seth. They can't do it. Legally, they cannot. If you think an NDA is worth anything, right? But legally, they can't talk bad about Seth. Even if they thought there was something off with him, they couldn't talk about it.
Actually, that's where everybody's wrong. If you have carnal knowledge,
Thank
of
you, Chris, for speaking up.
nefarious
Let's find
criminal
Sebastian.
acts, you can say fucking NDA all the way to a lawyer's office where you can make a report, and then they can just eat a fat baby's dick.
This is ped behavior, okay? I can't speak about Katie because I've never heard her say anything that gave me those vibes. I don't exactly think that she's helicopter mom. There's a reason that she wanted to put Sebastian into that school, a therapeutic school. I don't see Seth being so damn smart that he knows exactly what the professionals do there. And, you know, one of you in chat said, I'm sorry, I don't remember who, horrible of me, said because Seth said it's not geared to his issues. Okay, so right there, Seth said that Sebastian has issues. So a couple of months later, give or take, when Chris and Katie said, well, then he's going to have to come live with you. He threw his hands up and said, give him a year until he straightens up. Well, exactly who's going to, quote unquote, straighten him up, Seth? Who's going to do it? I mean, you see him every other weekend, sometimes once a month, sometimes not at all. This boy did not have the support he needed.
And then they can just eat a fat baby's dick.
Yeah.
And then they can just eat a fat baby's dick. And then they can just eat a fat baby's dick. Because guess what? The NDA don't mean shit.
Why would you leave somebody up there who's talking dirty?
Well, and I mean, you know how it fucking is, right?
I can't argue any of that.
And anybody that fucks with her can fuck off too.
I agree.
So sick and tired of listening to this fucking bitch.
Well, Eva's officially made my computer stall with the chat going wild.
Sorry, everybody. I apologize, but I'm just sick and tired of listening to this fucking bitch. Yeah, and I've said some shit about her before, and I don't give a fuck if she stood in front of my goddamn face. I'd say it right to her fucking face again.
Me too. With pleasure.
Now, what I will say is instead of her sitting here trying to grift and make money and shit, you should probably learn how to pay your fucking bill, like your fucking property tax bill that you still ain't fucking paid. Yeah, you want to go real life? I'll go real life, bitch. I done looked your ass up.
Well, she says that's okay. So, I mean, I'm just saying. She does say that. When it comes to Queen and her children and me and mine, it's okay.
Well, guess what? I can do it to her kid and the other 3 fucking kids that she ain't got control of. It's like, yeah, bitch, you want to dig into somebody's past, make damn sure that they don't play the game better than you. Make sure that they don't find your fucking exes and can get the dirt on you, bitch, and can spread it across God knows how far. Sometimes it's best you just shut the fuck up, pray your little prayers, grift your little fucking money, and move the fuck on instead of fuck out of everybody else's business.
I can't argue anything.
Can I get an amen?
There we go.
Amen. Can this bitch shut the fuck up? Hey, I don't know, but one day we're gonna hope she does. Oh my God, she's a fake fucking Christian. Oh my God. Fuck my fucking church, you fucking psycho bitch.
The fucking dogs in the background got me.
Oh, Lord.
And I'm sure I'm gonna catch hell for this, but I really don't give a fuck either.
Hell from who, though? That's the thing. From who? From who? The green team? The all magnificent at night media? Who fucking cares, man? Fuck y'all. Like, for real, fuck y'all. If y'all were serious, all of us would be sitting in the courtroom instead of just...
Well, guess what? And guess what? You fat ass home motherfucker. Got news for you. I still...
Actually, she's right. Anyone can print out a threat and certify mail it to someone and call it whatever you want to call it. It's not going to wind up in a courtroom. It's not going to wind up in a courtroom. So you see what Sebastian has been surrounded by. You see that.
Still ain't got my goddamn papers that you're gonna sue me. Still ain't got them. You gonna sit here and tell me your reward's not fake? Well, then guess what, dog? Hey, bitch, you pussy. You said you were kicking in my door. My door still fucking stands and the opportunity's right there. Walk through it, motherfucker.
Why not? I don't know. Like, I think there's a difference, right? Like, when you're joking around and up on panels talking about spitting on pizza or wet dreams or delicacies and all this other weirdo shit, it all adds up to make people think, wow, this is weird. Now, it's been a few months. Hell, I mean, Chrissy even participates in Turtle Island. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like this was in the very early stages where it was crucial to get out information of Sebastian and keep it on Sebastian. It's been a while now. I don't think there's any harm in any parents, even if it was Seth, so long as appropriate, to get up on a panel and kind of relax a little bit.
You're not. Go fucking suck, start a shotgun, okay? 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 Enough is enough with you motherfuckers.
Yeah. Yo, Christopher Proudfoot, short in his frame, but his tongue's like a blade spitting venom and shame. Verbal assault, yeah, he's bad and extreme. Tearing down women, living life so obscene. Backhands a kid, got the streets in a rage. A stepson gone missing, just 15 years of age. Sebastian's name echoes where the truth in the silence, while Chris keeps suggesting he is dark and he is violent. Katie sits silent, meek by his side. Tries to speak up, but her voice gets denied. He cuts her off quick like a king on his throne. Her body slumps back, she's a ghost in their home. This man's man's got a darkness, a storm in his soul. Speaking sexual violence, losing all his control. Cluminati live, yeah, he crossed every line. Advocating for suicide, man, his heart's out of time. Proud foot, what's the deal with your rage? Caging up hearts, keeping pain on the stage. Women and kids, yo, they caught in your snare while the world's looking on, keeping Sebastian in prayer. Proud foot, shadows fall where you tread. Missing steps on crime from the words that you said. From the mic to the streets, yo, the troops gonna sing. Chris Proudfoot gonna hear the handcuffs clink. Christopher Proudfoot, the spotlight's on you for the pain that you've caused and the things that you do.
Someone knows what happened. Someone knows what happened. I'm going to go to just some simple facts. All right. Simple facts from our girl, Jessica Danielle, friend of the show. She put up the 911 call. Now, you do not hear Katie. You do not hear Chris. You don't hear any familiar voices, but this is the dispatch. This is what really rubbed me the wrong way. Because when Katie was talking to Nancy Grace, I believe, if I remember correctly, she said, he's not a runner. You know how she talks. He's not a runner. He doesn't hide. Now, listen, this is not the time to make your family look like the Brady Bunch, okay? Or to look like Leave It to Beaver. But on the 911 call, it was, he does get out. He does hide. They were already talking to neighbors that said, yeah, they found him hiding under a car.
Stafford Court, 1008 Stafford Court, Hendersonville. Caller advised that the 15-year-old male is not in the bed. Medium white male, 30 blonde hair, approximately 5 foot, 120 pounds. I was going to be wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants. Two males have a form of autism. This is the first time it happened. I was going to be in the home before midnight. The doors are locked at this time.
Did Foreman out?
Central to 47-180, 412. Juvenile left his son at the house. The mother is driving around looking for him in the Victoria Place subdivision, and she is driving a big blue Infiniti.
Let's get there and see what's going on. Do our own search of the residence. We'll go from there. I'm in the area. Check one hold up. Just seeing it.
You can take the assist line and route to the missing juvenile. I took Thursville Medical Center ER, Sumner Station ER, Sumner Regional ER, and Skyline, all clear of the juvenile. You can see that the code red has them on at 745.
Next big track back up, going into the construction site over here, back towards the beach.
It's awful muddy. Do you see any footprints, anything? Couldn't have any shoes.
I do have some footprints.
Right there where you're standing?
Yeah, leading right over here to the retaining.
Okay, so the police are saying that, yeah, they have footprints from the construction site leading down to the retaining pond. From there, where did he go? Did she seriously drop him, just kick him out of the car, whatever, all the way from Texas Roadhouse to home? Because we have to admit that we know Katie and Chris have different disciplinary measures than any of us would use, okay? And this is very important.
I do have some footprints.
Right there where you're standing?
Yeah, leading right over here to the retaining.
No shoes, just footprints?
He literally dove into it. Next led me straight to the retaining pond. He dove into the water. Yeah, do you see any prints around it? There was a few footprints in some of the softer dirt headed straight this way on the track that he was running. Do we have a picture yet? What was that heat signature at?
So Katie's saying no shoes. Okay. It seems like, the footprints they picked up at the construction site are definitely no shoes, leading to the retention pond. We get a lot from what 911 dispatch said. A lot. Shay said the cops came out and said it wasn't Sebastian, though. Where? Do you have an article or a link for that? Because I've never seen that. I've never seen that.
Where the riprap is, where the trees are, 25 feet maybe out in the middle. Hey guys, the construction zone, there's another pond. There's somebody standing in the woods. It looks like a person. It is a person, we know, but there's another pond. He's standing back there by himself. Past the construction zone, in the same area back there. Yeah, the north end of it, yeah. Down over here, go straight back. There's a person in the woods by that pond. There's the house on the other side of the tree line. Going back toward the beach or going on the back side? Yeah, on the back side, and he's not moving. He's just standing.
Lover, not a fighter, said he had to make it home barefoot because he had shoes leaving Texas Roadhouse. That could be part of their strange punishments. I don't know. Shay said, I will look it up and send it to you. Make sure it's vetted at Crime Lines and Lies. I could be mistaken, though, because I go by what law enforcement says. I don't go by what YouTube says. And we hear all kinds of things in these cases. We know if you go to TBI's frequently asked questions, we do know that his scent was at the construction site. We do know that. And hey, they're the investigators, not moi.
Standing there by himself in the woods. It's Hendersonville 517. I'm on the northeast corner in the cemetery across the tree line. Am I close? No, the backside. Mickey, if you can, do you have anybody there with you? Stand by. Let me see if I can find it on my map. I got my drone grounded for the moment, and I'll see if I can do it. Target's over it. One of the two. I'm in my truck. Two, there's four of us on foot coming across the yard. Start directions. 19's on the screen. Straight in, straight in. Keep it on. Go left, go left. Just come back, you passed it. Right here. Won't be there. Won't where you going. Into the woods, it's woods. You should be about 15 foot from it. What's the child's first name? Should be all over it, whatever it is right there. The two people walking the woods. It's a mannequin. Sorry, guys. Look just like a person from the air. Here's another 66. What's the name of the child that we're looking for? First name is Pat. I'm sorry, can you repeat that? First name is Pat. Last clothing description was black sweatpants with a white stripe, black long sleeve t-shirt with a print. Nikki, how many drones do y'all have up? One at the moment. I've got mine grounded so I can get Sartopo up. I'll be back in the area momentarily. 29 Central on scene. Put two out here with me. 10-4, has anybody been there since the initial? There's a whole bunch of people here now. 4 in the mom. Can you help me listen to the radio on the north end until we wrap this up, please? Yes, sir. Brandon, you've got Hendersonville Mountain Patrol coming up there, and Joe's sending some more cars if we can start from the beginning, from the original house, and
set up a new plan up there. 10-4, that's what we're doing now, sir. Thank you.
One all year. So neighbor advised that he's found the child under his son's car, which is across the street, 2 doors up. So be sure and search under cars and under things.
Okay, so the neighbor, 2 doors up, I know who that person is, said they have found Sebastian, the child is Sebastian, hiding under his son's car. Which is very perplexing to me, considering both parents, and I mean Seth and Katie. Seth, in my opinion, wouldn't know because he's not around that much. He's just not. I'm not fretting on Seth. I'm not hating on Seth. If you don't live there, you don't know. They don't exactly have a great relationship, him and Katie. They don't. She's not going to tell him everything that's going on throughout the day. So Seth can't be the historian here. Okay? A child hiding under a car is not a good sign. Okay?
Who do you want to go with this other K9 search and rescue?
I just talked to the GC, the construction bacteria. He's going to start getting the word out to all his crews that are out here working.
All I need is Jesus Coffee and True Crime. What's up, girl? Said that was also debunked. It wasn't Sebastian under the car either. According to the neighbor, it was Sebastian. So I don't know. But that's very important information in a missing child's case. Now, if another YouTube channel debunked it, I don't care. If the neighbor came back and said, I was wrong, it wasn't Sebastian, then I do care.
94 to 1,000. So we can get a game plan and reconvene.
Oh, Target, can you put a drone right over top of this trash can, this dumpster? See if there's anything in it. 188. Van 184 is going to send you a picture.
You send out a code red for 1,008 Stafford.
Code red was sent out at 07:45 this morning.
2-4. We will send that in good. Can we retry that, please?
10-4, will do.
12 188.
Go ahead, sir.
Can you come to 1,008, please? 12 to any units that are going to be assisting with 1,008. Please come to 1,008 Stafford Court now, please. Start at the beginning of Kelly Lane, 1,000. We're going to work our way north of Kelly Lane. That's fine. I'll get these 2 houses right here, and we'll take the right side. The white Ford truck, that's the Hendersonville officer's house that's with me. No, that house hasn't been checked. The next house up from it. Yeah, isn't that the shits? Holly S. said Katie had said something about him hiding as well in the house. Yeah. Now, there's 2 different personalities. You have the media personality where they're trying to act like they're this tight-knit family and everyone does everything they can do for Sebastian. Then you have the reality, hence what the police are digging up, saying we've talked to neighbors. Sebastian was found hiding under the neighbor's son's car. Katie told the police that he hides often. See the white Ford in the driveway?
We log a neighborhood Facebook page. Post was made 1023. Check. No motion on camera.
Unit on Stafford. An additional caller calling that lives in the area stating she saw someone that made the description on Hogan's Branch. Male with sandy blonde hair with a bag wrapped around his head. Chest stated he had on a reflective jacket. Approximately 2 hours ago.
30 command. 139 World End has a camera, but nobody's answering the door. He had some ties at White House High School,
and every time he got in trouble, he wanted to go back to White House, so I notified White House PD, and we're notifying this SRO.
10-4. This way up with the cameras, correct?
It's 10-4. Nobody's answering, nobody's home. In reference to that address, please run a registration check on testing tag. What's going to say?
Access at 2012 BMW, 7-digit black and color, registered. At that address. Confirmed NSR.
Correct. You can't see it. You can find any information. I'm sure we can look up on a phone number or something. We would appreciate it.
Command the units that are at staff report. When you check a residence, please give me the numeric and unit numbers that have checked it and whether or not you made contact with anybody.
Made contact with 1000 Kellen Lane. He checked all of his cameras. Nothing was on. No answer at 102 or 103 Kellen Lane. 105 answered, hasn't seen it. Nothing on the ring doorbell.
10-4, and you're saying 102, is it 1002?
1002, I'm sorry.
Did you ask if he had a light purple hoodie?
I don't know if the parents will know, but just on out if he owns a light purple hoodie with her something like that.
Can they ask?
Mom doesn't advise us to call them. Yeah. They were at Dragon Square last night, just bowling. And you have a unit go there, make sure that he hasn't returned there. 1015 have ring cameras, but didn't pick up anything.
517 Hendersonville is with me. 1000 contact, haven't seen anything either. Nothing on the ring doorbell. 1012 Kellen Lane through 20. All 1012 go through that tower. The lady at 1032 Kellen runs the neighborhood Facebook page, and she's updating it to request people to look in their crawl spaces and hidden areas.
4.
Hey, on at 1000 Kellen Lane, did y'all happen to check the crawl space? I will have to check my list, but if it wasn't locked from the outside, it was checked. 1018.
Okay, so that's important. The lady that runs the neighborhood Facebook group, she updated it. I have seen it. I can put it up if you need me to, where she said, everybody check your homes, check your crawl spaces, check any tight corner you can think of. Now, mind you, that was over a year ago. But some of the neighbors were already aware of some difficulties going on in the home.
In Stafford, they are reviewing their camera footage right now. They need some contact and they got cameras checked. No, that's fine.
184, your low volume. They got cameras checked.
It will 1018. And I'll be out at St. John Missionary, 1085.
Resident at 1028 Kellen Lane states that he just saw a kid with a black shirt, black shorts, had a phone in his hand coming across the construction. When he made contact with this gentleman, the subject went straight back to the woods at the top of Kellen Lane. I just talked to him. He's one helping. Well, thank you. 12 units. When you're done with your assignment, please come back to 1008 Stafford. 1023, 24, 18, and 16 Stafford. Ring cameras. Nothing's been called. Operations have started at Willow Bend Drive. St. John Baptist is clear all the way along. When the dumpsters and both church buses have been cleared also. They're making that.
10-4. Are you going back to Stafford Court?
Still on search, but general area.
1026. Kellen Lane, no contact. 1028, made contact. Nothing on their cameras. And 1030, contact. Nothing on their cameras. And nothing in the treehouse behind the house.
10-4.
Yes, man. All houses on Kellen Lane have been checked. Those woods on that side of Long Hollow, we've been unable to fly to due to the distance with the drones. So those big woods that's south of the house, we haven't been able to just all the properties on Vandywood Court have been checked. We're starting on Honeysuckle now. Yeah, that's 3293 Long Hollow Pike. Beyond the creek and checking that cave behind the house.
I'm almost back to the house. Meet my partner.
I crawled back into the cave as far as I could go before it got muddy. No footprints, and it's collapsed only in about 10 feet.
10-4, but you're out of it, correct?
Sounds like. Trooper Grinder has himself and a few troopers. They're going to hit the road outside of our immediate vicinity and just look for him walking down the roadway somewhere.
3301 Long Hollow Pike has been cleared. It's a stone house. Several outbuildings have been cleared. They're unlocked if anyone else wants to look.
I just sent you the endangered poster. If you can put that on our social media, please. 12 to 188.
Please.
Did y'all check inside each one of those buses behind TW Hunter?
10-4, so we check them all.
Okay, well, we're at the three closest to the building. We asked Kennisville to respond to the area of National Pike and Carrion Road. There's a juvenile in that area wearing black pants and a red t-shirt. I'm shaking back and forth like he had autism. It was just reported to us. Outside of Long Hollow from Killen Lane to Center Point has been checked. Can you check the field houses that are up on top of the hill by the practice field back behind TW Hunter? I don't see that anybody has tracked through there on foot.
10-4. The blind and my starting location's clear. Residents in blind at 3221 Long Hollow Pike is clear. And from my starting location to Shackle Island, I've walked the entire creek bed and then up to is clear.
Myself and 182 have been behind TW Hunter, all the way behind Beach football field and baseball field, up in the fields, checking tree lines all the way to the cemetery behind Beach Road Presbyterian. We're still here so far, cleared. Myself and 182, we've not made ourselves around to the front of the schools inside the school yet. We're still in the back.
Very mobile units on Long Hollow Pike.
3 is.
Go ahead, 3.
The bus and the shed have been checked at 3220.
10-4.
10-4, thank you. You and your partner stop at Willow Bend and go house to house Willow Bend. Check all those, please. See what people have driven through it, but it doesn't look like they were house to house. Yeah, well, every house on Honeysuckle has been checked. People that answered the door have only seen the trash man this morning, nothing else. The White House and Red Barn adjacent to TW Hunter, 2105 New Hope is clear. 3417 THP has joined in with myself and 517 on Willow Bend to check houses.
10-4.
The big holding pond has been cleared by Hendersonville Fire. They're going to rehab at Shackle Island for a bit, then go to the one over by the cemetery.
10-4.
Field houses behind the beach, soccer field's been searched. We're going to head over to the side field house across the street from the fire hall. 106, 108, 110, 112, Willowbrook, all check, no contact with any homeowners. And none of these houses have crawl spaces.
Beach football complex.
Are y'all still searching that area?
Yes, sir.
Make contact with a realtor at 114. Hasn't seen him, and all the rooms have been cleared. 116 made contact with that homeowner. He said he has seen that child walking in the neighborhood in past times, but not recently. The main field house next to the freshman annex has been completely searched. All clear. It's got beach softball, beach football. It's the one next to the Beachcomber Church between it and the freshman annex. It's the main football complex.
We, me and Marshall's back here in the back of the cemetery back here.
No contact with anyone, and his truck is not here either. So I think the lady's here trying to get in her driveway in your cars, and is the key there by chance?
It is, but it's locked.
Okay. Yeah, she's trying to get in the driveway. We haven't had a process.
Call came in at 6:33 this morning.
Great, thank you. You may do it, man. We just put another can on the ground at the house. See if we fix anything. We are breaking off 50 gallons of for fuel.
Refuel.
The creek worsens to New Shackle Long Hollow and the bridge there, full been checked.
Marty, what's your location? Allison by 109 in Thornton's right now. I just got a phone call. Kid matching the descriptions, hiding under the bridge, lower station camp behind the market. I'll be en route. I'm close. If we get somebody else on the other side of their nursery to come down, she stated that he could be on that side. 446, what was the last thing that? Just under the bridge. She stated that when she went down to turn around, he was gone. 446. Did you talk to the complainant? She's still on the bridge. Sure. White female, black leggings, I believe. Blonde hair. 447, 446. You see any tracks that way? I'm taking the Creek Clover. See any track. 446 to 447. Hold your location, please. I'm on foot now.
10-4. I know they've got the dog up there.
The helicopter's coming back to you. 158 Upper Station. The residents say the EPA, approximately 5 minutes ago, somebody walked through that gate right below you.
There's somebody in black. Yeah.
There's a deputy at 158. I saw somebody in black on the tree line. I don't know if it's one of our guys.
Yeah, there's two law enforcement guys walking back here along the tree line. Let's go through there.
12 to 24. How long have they lived in that house?
A year.
Where were we at before?
Cambridge Farms, Gal. 449 Remington in Cambridge Farms.
White male, gray t-shirt, white pants. They didn't get to see his face, kind of shaggy blonde hair.
We'll be out at lower station.
Chocolate gravy. I love chocolate gravy, by the way. I can't make it. My chocolate always burns. Said down to the day of the divorce, it happened. The Sox going to Alaska within 2 days. Why would you not stay home with one if your grandchild's missing? I've never understood that. Just because you had a trip already planned, what are you doing? What are you doing? Shouldn't you at least, I mean, if you're not searching, because obviously police are, wouldn't you stay there to support your family? Do they not have any shits to give about Sebastian at all? I mean, what about their daughter-in-law? Can't you be there to support Katie? I couldn't imagine. I don't know what kind of trip would keep me away from what is going on at my home. And then they were in damn Puerto Rico. Her and Snaggletooth. Holy shit. I've never seen anybody with 3 front teeth. God.
Scarlet and Big Station with a white male juvenile, a 4-wheeler in the creek.
Who checked out with the juvenile on Station Gal?
This is not going to be our missing juvenile. He's with his father in the creek.
I made contact with the male, the caller, and him in the trail called about. It's not our subject.
And the important thing is, call 800 TBI Find with any tips or anything. I will never understand these people. Don't understand them. Never have. But I understand all of you, and I love our TED Talks in the morning. I love it because we may not agree on everything, but we put our heads together and we come to a conclusion. What do we say? Agree to disagree? Tell you what, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine. So either they are the smartest criminals in the damn world, or the FBI, TBI, and Sumner County are the dumbest law enforcement ever. I can't figure it out. I really can't. Like I said, it's not like they're out in the middle of nowhere. Uh-oh. Oh, we have thunder. OJ's going to get really upset. He's out there somewhere, and I'm not going to be shocked for a minute if he turns up alive and well and has just been hiding out somewhere. It's happened before. He's not dumb. All right, you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you, members. Thank you, mods. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Y'all are the best. You enjoy your day and stay out of the rain. Nurse Sandy became a new member. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Nurse Sandy. So glad you guys are here. You're the absolute best. Well, before I lose electricity, I'm shutting this show down. Love you bunches.